talk about fear today. We're going to talk about fear, we're going to talk about what it is, why we have it, and some tools to overcome it. Is it okay if I would take a few minutes to talk a little bit about myself?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I grew up as an only child in a fringe cult kind of family. You might say, what is that? Well, I kind of just made it up. It just kind of means that we were on the outside. We didn't do anything like normal people did. And my parents, they're a bit crazy. I don't know. How many of you have some crazy parents? How many of you are some crazy parents? And we don't really believe in doctors or Western medicine, so we're pretty out there. We do everything alternative. There's a lot of other things we don't do, but I'm not going to tell you what those. And then there's a lot of things we do, which I'm also not going to tell you. I'll tell you though, enemas are a thing. Weird. So imagine I'm a little girl and I'm in a regular classroom, and obviously I'm disabled. And so, hey, let's ostracize this kid just a little bit more. Let's name her Destiny. And then on top of that, they sent me with these really healthy lunches. So I got my little bottle of distilled water and a container of salad and a salmon sandwich. Some brown bread. Who's going to trade with me? I was the kid that had the gross lunches. Nobody's going to share their recess with me. And I grew up with this feeling that I was a burden. And nobody ever told me that. It was just sort of there. It was just a thing. Because obviously someone has to do everything for me. And it didn't matter what I did. And everything I did was to prove that I'm not a burden. So I did everything. I went to school and I did really well, and I went to university and I did a lot of courses after that. I got involved in multi-level marketing and I sold vitamins to people, and I was the go-to person for everything. I was a travel counselor. I booked people's trips for them. And I was very, very depressed, especially in my 20s. I was depressed, I had anxiety, I had panic attacks. I couldn't sleep without like the TV on because just too much silence. I'd think stuff and it would freak me out. And I was riddled with fear. I was afraid of being alone. I was afraid of being abandoned. I was afraid that I wouldn't have anybody to look after me when my parents died. And I think fear can be very insidious. I don't think we all know how much fear drives us in our life. Just little fears. But I mean, there's the big obvious fears we all know about, like flying, or heights, or spiders, or public speaking, death. Public speaking was my biggest fear. I'd get myself all worked up into a panic about it, frenzy. I'd be sweating and shaking, and my words wouldn't come out right. And I would just hate doing it. And it was awful. And I was really worried about what other people thought of me. People were looking at me and judging me. And so you know that saying we hear on the playground, sticks and stones? How's that go? We seem to think they do. We're conditioned from a very young age that words do matter, words do hurt, and they hurt other people, they hurt us. But do they really? I don't know. I don't think so. But words are just words. But we live in this politically correct society where we don't even know what we can say to anybody anymore without offending someone. Can't even say Merry Christmas because it's going to offend people. And also we got kids that are committing suicide because they're being bullied in school. I was bullied. Everybody was bullied in school. Dad, who was actually supposed to be here with me, he didn't. He got himself stuck in Mexico. With a different friend. Likes to be very thrifty and save his money, and he only buys like reduced produce or on sale stuff like toilet paper, and he buys loads of it when it's on sale. He thinks that, hey, you never have too much toilet paper in the zombie apocalypse, right? And my mom, she's an equally crazy paradox. She doesn't like movies that have any violence or any war or any sci-fi, like Avatar or Lord of the Rings, anything like that, she's not into it. But if someone sends her a documentary that has war and violence, she loves it. She sends it to her entire email list because, hey, people need to be informed. And imagine that fear, whatever it is, it's happening. It's happening right now. I don't know. I don't really like spiders, so I would maybe imagine spiders all over me. So whatever your fear is, just imagine that it's happening to you. Fear has a very powerful physiology. We feel it in our body, we feel it in maybe our chest or our necks. We get stiff necks. Sometimes we feel nauseous, all kinds of funny physiological feelings that accompany fear. So just take a minute and notice what that feels like. My intention for the exercise is actually to have you notice that you can feel fear when there's nothing happening to you. You're in a room completely safe, surrounded by friendly people, and you could still feel fear. So it's completely within our own control. So we've talked about what fear is, why we have it, and some tools to overcome it. Are there any questions? Yes.
How do you actually be brave enough to put it into practice?
Well, when I talked about being present, one of the things about that is that you get in the moment and you take the next step. Whatever the next step is, you just do it. I hope people will figure out what it is they love in their life, what makes them happy, and go after it and do it. And don't let fear stop you or what people think. And the second is to go into every situation with the idea, I can win this.